Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And today we have a very special update for you guys on Ripple and XRP. So straight at the bat here, the crypto prices are doing pretty damn good. We can't really complain about this. We can't really say anything negative about it except for XRP because, well, they're not really moving too severely. We can all see that the XP price has been left behind a little bit, but only going up 0.17% in comparison to the rest of the crypto market that's moving significantly better, except for, of course, the stable coins. Now, having said that, in the entire market here, it's actually biased to go up. Since the majority of the stocks actually ended up positively, it will be rather strange if it all of a sudden ends up with XRP being left behind for some unknown reason. I mean, is XRP really doing bad for any reason? I really can't think of one. Alright, having said that, what is going on with the crypto and what specifically is going to happen tomorrow? Now guys, if you are an XRP holder, make sure you press that like button and put down below, yes, I hold XRP. Just put it down below and let's see how many people that watch this video actually hold XRP and how many just watch it for fun. Alright, having said that, there's a couple of things which are happening tomorrow, and we have a couple of pieces of news over at the top. But the most important thing straight at the bat is that there's going to be some massive FUD. I'm warning you guys about it right now. What's going to happen? Well, as every single month, Ripple is going to be releasing, it's not officially Ripple themselves, it's the XP Ledger, but Ripple's going to get released to them 1 billion XRP. And you might look at this and say, excuse me, 1 billion XP, what are you talking about? This happens every single month, and we've covered it quite a significant amount of times over on the channel, in the sense that ever since 2018, they've been getting themselves 1 billion XRP every single month, of which they put the majority of XRP back. However, there's a couple of things to say. Even though you, the person watching this right now, you beautiful person, might completely understand everything about XRP and about the XP Ledger and about this billion XRP, I'm going to assume that at least half the people don't know what it is about. And once there's a billion XRP coming out tomorrow, there's people that are going to get worried or just completely don't understand. So guys, one of the things which a lot of people used to take a good look at was Ripple's quarterly sales. Now, why is that relevant? It's actually very relevant if we're talking about Ripple's huge XRP escrows because, well, this 1 billion XRP gets released because they had 50 billion XRP at the start, 56 or something like that. They decided to make sure that it's locked up for a significant amount of time, about 5 years or so. And they made it so that every single month, a billion unlocks that they can decide to do something with or put back in. You can see the second row of numbers here. This row of numbers basically represents the amount of XP that's been put back into escrow, and then again just basically locked for another couple of years. I think it's 5 years. I'm not exactly sure how long it is though, guys. But we can see here exactly, for example, how many escrows are still left and how much it basically going on and going around. You can see as well they've decided to not do 1 billion XRP in one transaction, but 500 million in two transactions ever since somewhere 2020. Not exactly sure anymore why they did that. And right now things are even changing a little bit because it's getting into more and more transactions as Ripple keeps locking it back up. As again, you gotta remember it like this. There's 1 billion XRP every single month. But because you put, let's say, 700 million back, you filled a 500 million account, okay, but there's 200 million left. So that's in one account, boom. And then they basically from the next batch are going to add 300 million to that one, to the batch. But of course, it's at least in this way, not in the same, let's say, it's not officially, but let's say wallet in that sense. They're basically separated by the two, which is why you might see sometimes there's 400 and then 100 million or so. It's just because that works out the best way for them. And again, it always totals up to 1 billion. And again, you can see this keeps on going till about the end of 2020, let's see here, end of 2025. As of this point, and of course this will keep moving further as Ripple doesn't spend all of the XRP they get. However, in Q4 report here, this report entailed or had a couple of sales in there, and a lot of people are looking at that like, what does this all mean? What is this going on? It is actually two-sided, but a very big part of Ripple's sales are actually the XRP that they get from this that they are allowed to use for the development of the XRP ledger. So that basically means they had, when they made Ripple, they made the XP Ledger, two separate entities, by the way. The people who made the XP Ledger are not necessarily Ripple, but they do have a lot of overlap. So let's quickly make that clear. They do have a lot of overlap. They're not necessarily the same people. They don't have to be, because the XP Ledger was created before Ripple was created, and it was gifted to Ripple, gifted to the developers, founders, and whatnot, and gifted to a couple other things. Then they try to distribute the coins in some fair way. It's pretty difficult, which is understandable. You know, how are you going to give the coins away when there's absolutely no value to them? It's pretty hard, because they didn't have a pre-sale like Ethereum had, for example. And you got to remember, XRP is one of the oldest cryptos in the book. Some people even speculate that the idea for XP was thought of before Bitcoin even was, and some people speculate that the founders of the XP Ledger also had something to do with the creation of Bitcoin, but that's besides the point for today. The most important point is, again, the fact that 1 billion is going to be releasing tomorrow. Again, it's going to be, it's officially here, it's already the first. And what's going to happen is Ripple's going to get it sent to them. They're most likely going to send, let's say, 800 million back or so. There's no reason to panic because it happens every single month. And the XP that they do keep is not necessarily going to be sold at that point. Sometimes it might be so. It's hard to follow. But there's a couple of wallets, like the RL18VN wallet from Ripple that we basically tracked. You can sometimes see, for example, the money that they get and where they're trying to send it to. And this can be, for example, for all the operational XRP expenses, but ecosystem expansion. You should kind of see it like that. So once more, I'm not really an advocate of this. It depends on how you view it. From one side, I'm thinking, well, Ripple does this so they can further XP development and keep the ecosystem growing. I mean, there's no incentive for really being a validator in the XP Ledger or doing anything in that regard. As David Schwartz says, the best incentive is no incentive. But that also, in literal sense, means there's less incentive to grow it, because there's no monetary gain, there's only cost. And so the people that are involved with it, they're unbiased because, well, they don't make money with it. They just want it to work because they want it to work. But obviously, you're less in it to actually spend money on developing something, which is why the foundation is basically there. They have the money to basically spend on XRP and the XP Ledger to make it grow, like any foundation has. Cardano, ETH, Bitcoin, any one of them has the same sort of set of people, basically, that make it grow and make new things in there, like we've just seen with Litecoin with a big upgrade. But in that same sense as well, that's what the money is being spent for officially. And so is there anything else that you need to know about it? Not really, to be honest with you. I think the most important part is that you don't panic about it and that you now understand this happens every single month and will happen for years to come. You can see it as a good thing, you can see it as a bad thing, depending on how you view it. But think for yourself. Would you rather have them burn all the XRP, like Stellar did? The good side is then there would be less XRP, so there's less selling pressure in that sense, and it become deflationary in some way. Yes, but also no, because from some perspective, if they were to do that, then there's also no more money really to grow the XP Ledger, which there right now is quite a significant amount of. And also, I guess from another question side, I could kind of say, is there anything else that we need to see aside from this, from the big event tomorrow? Well, yeah, a lot of people are calling XP undervalued. And again, you got to remember, the XP value now has been created and went through in, I guess, a situation where everybody already knew up front that this was all happening for the XP Ledger and for Ripple, basically. So if you can see the price move, you can see sometimes it's gone up and even went to $2 or so a couple of months ago. This is all with the idea in our heads as well that they're selling this and they have this and stuff. It's just a foreign concept for a lot of people, but I don't think it's actually really a bad thing. At least that's what I've kind of convinced myself to a certain degree. If you don't like it, of course, you can just sell your coins. Again, these videos are not financial advice. But here's, for example, an article which said XRP and Uniswap still underbought per this on-chain data. And what they basically said here, sentiment said, Uniswap is one of several assets that have been or seen trader profits plummet particularly hard during recent price corrections. Metrics like the VRV help point out when trader pain reveals buy windows. Read our Uni, XP, GRT, AVA, Comp, and LRC write-up. What we've basically seen is that there's quite a significant amount of dumps that happened with these cryptos and not really the relief rally that we've seen for a lot of other alts in that same sense. And you can kind of get from me as well that I personally think XRP is quite undervalued. And I think it's mostly because of the lawsuit pressure. But you got to remember for yourself the fact that Ripple, and this is a really key one, the fact that Ripple still gets this XRP and still gets to sell it with SEC approval, in my own opinion, means there's absolutely no way in which Ripple is basically selling unregistered securities from the lawsuit date on forward. The only thing we're discussing is the lawsuit date on backwards. A lot of people comment to say the government always wins. Might be the truth, might be. However, there's a win condition for Ripple, a win condition for the government, and these two things can overlap and be fine. Government wants to win, they get $100 million. Ripple wants to win, XRP was maybe bad in the past. Okay, they'll accept that one. But XRP from here on forward is fine. As long as that's basically the win condition for Ripple and the win condition for the SEC. That they officially came out with the win, the SEC, and that Ripple officially has XRP as a non-security. And that can definitely work together, you know. And from that perspective, I think the fact that they're selling it still and that this can still move on and that Jim McCallum can sell and whatnot is a really bullish sign that makes XRP undervalued on its own, because a lot of people are not understanding that and the importance, critical importance of that. And one last article I just saw was that there's a lot of XP shifted. Again, you'll see a lot of XP being shifted tomorrow. Means almost nothing. Generally speaking, it's not really bearish for the price or doesn't really do too much. It's just important because you're going to see a lot of FUD and people speculate about it, but now you know. You can find all the details about it over on Leonidas' blog as well, XP Arcade. If you want to look a little bit further into all the sales, for example, he's done multiple different summaries from all the quarters, and you can see when what is going to be unlocked and whatnot. If for some reason you want to write this down in your little notebook or something like that, I have no idea what you're going to do with this information. But again, there's some people out there who can do crazy stuff with crazy pieces of data. So have fun, enjoy yourself. Don't enjoy yourself too much, because again, this is crypto we're talking about. The SEC doesn't want to have you, want you to have too much fun. But you know, do whatever you please and think is juicy. That was it for today's video. Hopefully, you all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you press the like button and subscribe to the channel. And adios, amigos.